We deeply apologize for the break in transmission, and of course, we are still on the program Big Talk here on Global Television, where we're spotlighting the recent outburst by Senator Ali Ndume the floor, during a media interview where he took on the president by criticizing that the president seems not to be accessible and that he's being caged at the Aso Rock. And of course, my guest, who is, of course, APC chieftain Daniel Mama, is live here on the program, and of course, he's adding value to the conversations we're having. But let's take a look at the issues that Ndume raised. He said that the financial autonomy for local government is one of the greatest things that Tinubu has done. Your assessment, would this really put to rest the issues of grassroots politics? Because you just pointed out when we were talking about the issues of distribution and of palliative sometimes passing through the governors. Don't we have three tiers of government that ought to be from what goes from federal government, gets to the local government? And with the recent autonomy and Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy, would it put to rest all of this issue?
The answer is no. Because of, though we will get there, it's a gradual process. The local government chairman, what was the process that brought them to office? How do they get there? Are they there on the will of the people, or are they there on the interest of the governors? The governors are the emperors of the states. What they take is what they get. All their thoughts are coming to realities. Now, the local government autonomy, is one of the greatest achievements of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu in the last 1 year in office. And he has done well. His Attorney General has made Nigerians to be proud that, yes, the presidency can get it done without unnecessary debate and rancor. And the Attorney General have done well to have approached the Supreme Court for interpretation, and he got the judgment and the interpretation. I think what is required now, as it stands today, what is required is for the Attorney General to reach out to the states Attorney Generals. They are actors. Because of most of the governors are not knowledgeable. They don't know what this local government autonomy stands for. And local government is not all about funding. What the Supreme Court has simply interpreted is that remove the governors from the funding does not mean remove the governors from other parts of the local government governance. The governors are still the governors of the state. The funding is what they are removing the governors from. There are other ways the local government are generating taxes. They are collecting taxes before now and after now, till now they are still collecting it. And the Supreme Court did not even delve into that. And these governors have marshaled out ways how these local governments have been generating these taxes. And what the local government are generating, the Supreme Court did not even dealt with it. How those generated internal revenue will be spending, and who get this, who spend this. The governors should just allow the local government fund for the local government administrators to be managing the funds. There are a lot of governors that interweave between the state governors and the local government chairman. Is a welcome development. It's an excellent approach from the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's administration. Nigeria hailed them for them to have getting this right. And they should also take a step forward to interpret it for Nigerians to be practicing.
Because we are very much bothered about how this is going to be sustained. Autonomy, away from the financial autonomy, sending allocation from the federal government to the state, to the local government. There's been a concern, like the recent local government election, the poll they conducted on Saturday, Adamawa, PDP, People's Democratic Party, swept it up because the governor is of the People's Democratic Party. In Delta State, we also have instances where PDP took almost all the the local government we have in that state. And that is a concern. And the worries, what many Nigerians and experts are worrying about. Because if you cannot grant independent election that really the people really elect who they want to manage their funds and allocation, we may still indirectly have these funds go back to the hands of the governors. We are bothered about that. What's the concern?
Yeah, it's a gradual process. And the Supreme Court just gave the judgment. And most of the governors have not even laid their hands. And most of the attorney generals have not even interpreted the judgment to the governors. And now, don't get it twisted. Nigeria still remain Nigerians. These same governors still remain the same governors. And all these people you see, they just emerge in Adamawa and Delta. They are the people of the governor's choice, not the will of the people. Because if you watch the reactions in Delta, you see most of the other political parties are crying foul play, a business as usual. There is nothing new. There is nothing new. The way the state electoral bodies are conducting the state elections, that is the same way they have conducted these two state local government pools. And there is nothing new there. And if anybody was expecting a different result, I will wonder if that person is truly in Nigeria, or if that person is a student of history, how those local government elections has always been. It is going to take us more than a year from today for us to think of getting these local government pools right. They are test running the waters. What we just saw in Adamawa and Delta is still the same old brigade. How those governors used to do things. That is the way they have done this. And don't equally forget, we Nigerians, we are very funny set of people. In the situation whereby when you have a popular opposition party, the party in position might even sponsor a candidate to stand for that party. And you would think that that same party is contesting an election. Meanwhile, it's just holding brief for the other party. For example, it happens in Imo Goban election, where you see a almighty PDP present a gubernatorial candidate who could not even stand election the way and manner a PDP candidate was supposed to stand election. That's a state. PDP have governed that state. And PDP have a senator. PDP have reps, state assembly members. And PDP featured a candidate in Imo Goba election, just last concluded Imo Goba election. And that is not the way to go. He was holding brief for the opposition at the end of it all. As soon as he was just defeated, he could not even make an attempt. He could not even, this side of he surrendered. And those are the type of things you see in the local government polls. It's going to take us a little time, but definitely we will come out of this. We will come out of this. The governors are very smart. They know what to do. And now there is even a debate. Let the federal INEC be conducting a local government poll. I see that as more responsibility to the federal INEC. What we need to do, this state INEC need to be trained and retrained and reshape their mental capacity, their thinking that, okay, because of his PDP governor, all the local government bosses must be PDP. Because of his APC governor, all the local government bosses must be APC. I think with time, we will cross the bridge. We will see a real contest, a genuine elections in the local government polls. If anybody is expecting it now, the person is far from reality.
So are you undermining the call that INEC should rather conduct these local government elections? Are you saying that, would it mean that INEC are doing better compared to what we find at the state electoral umpire conducting election?
They are just 5 or 6. It just 6 and half a dozen. Depends on how you will pronounce it. Half a dozen means 6 means half a dozen. That is the INEC and the state INEC. They are doing the same thing. Because of this is same INEC that they will declare a result. You see opposition going to court and court revising it. We are not having free affair, or we are not having a credible INEC that will say, oh, because of this, what the national INEC have done, they have done excellently, they have done things different from the state INEC. No. They are just 6 and half a dozen. So all what we need to do, the federal has that is a little better performance than the state.
How about the concern about the fact that this may undermine the proper intention of financial autonomy to local government?
The financial autonomy to local government have come to stay. Nothing anybody can do about that. All what is expected is for the civil society, well-meaning Nigerians, and beam a torchlight on the local government. If you give any governors money, the anti-corruption agencies are there
to tackle that.
And those local government chairmen, they have to sit tight. They have to sit. Even though it's the governor that bring you, and this is the responsibility that you have been saddled, and you have no choice. You must perform. And if you divert the money to give to the local government, you will have yourself to blame at the end of it all. Because a local government chairman does not even have immunity.
So what means you want that the president should be distributing some of these palliatives? I understand that according to you, palliative is not the way forward, but the intention might be, if the intentions are right and it's well implemented, I feel it may have some impact. What other means away from distributing through the governors do you think can work?
The palliative is not the way to go.
But if it has to be an option now?
It's not an option. That is where we are getting it wrong.
Opening of a border to bring in food importation, people said it's not also an option. But how about also generating from the air?
We can generate food that we consume. We can generate food. And all what we need is for the government. The palliative is a misplacement of priority. What the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu need to do is to keep this fund and channel this fund to agriculture. Let us use this fund to be producing food. If we have surplus food, the food will cheap. There is no free meal in free time. How can you be giving us a palliative? You think you are doing us well? There is no part of the world that any nation is giving our citizens palliative. If at all, there must be a genuine and a true process, a procedure, very clean, that this is the process we are going to give palliative. And for example, like the Western world, if they have 10 acres of land, they know how many buildings and how many occupants will be there. But in Nigeria, reverse is the case. We are even getting exemption of FCT. Exemption of FCT. We don't even know how many buildings we have in most of our state capital, talkless of the local government or our villages, our towns.
So there's no yardstick for some.
There is no even accurate database that you will say, okay, in Edo State, Auchi, we have 200,000 people living in Auchi, or we have 800,000 people living in Benin City. We don't have accurate data. So how did you come about of you want to give a state palliative? You just within your head, you just calculate and say, okay, Edo, 300 bags of grain, Kanu, 400 bags of grain. We are not making a headway. Ask the governor with their little resources. let them embark on agriculture. We need to feed our people. There is hunger in the land. The only way to go is for us to produce what we will consume, what we are consuming. Not you opening border and buying grain and distributing to Nigeria. And those grains, they will not distribute that to Nigeria. We have numerous case studies. In August 2023, this president give palliative. What was the effect of the palliative? In December, he gave to National Assembly. What was the effect? There is nothing, even in the last administration. President Muhammadu Buhari, time to time, they used to dole out palliative to an extent. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs even put money on the table, I think in Abaji, that they want to be giving Nigerians palliative during the lockdown. Yeah. Who does that, for God's sake? And people without data, the process was not transparent. And because of lack of transparency, we could not move anywhere. And those palliative is not translating to any good. Neither this group of politicians are conniving with the governors to take what they don't need. So palliative is not the way to go. It's not the way to go.
A lot of reactions there because, I mean, Senator Ndume was also speaking on this issue that the situation in the country is very much tight, and the greatest achievement of this administration has been the issues of local government autonomy. And this, the latest outburst in the media by the senator, which has also caused a lot of concern, where there are some pro-lawmakers in the Senate making an attempt to suspend the senator from his recent outburst. But to what end should it be that many Nigerians are looking for a way that the government, President Bola Tinubu, must fix the critical situation we are right now. The state of the economy and the state of the nation is quite tense, and the president has a role to play in rescuing the situation and getting Nigeria out of a dream working again. That's the much we are taking on the show tonight, and of course, Big is still Big Talk. Coming again tomorrow, same time on the stations, where we'll be taking a look at another political development and story, bringing some experts and analysts to give you an understanding, breaking it down for your better understanding. My guest tonight was Danesi Momo, APC chieftain, and a very expert in always giving us a good analysis to some of these issues in the political grounds. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight.
You.
Looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. I mean, some other day. No, not tomorrow. That's the size of our, of course, conversation tonight. See you again tomorrow, where we'll bring in another edition, fresh one, to talk on politics. My name is Edikan Michael. God bless Nigeria.